this.
Hi Uprisers, it is Trisha Lacroix, founder and CEO of Sacred Uprising Institute and Retreat. And today we have Bliss Prema, and she is going to be talking about accelerating consciousness through initiation. Very excited to have Bliss, but before we start with Bliss, I just wanted to make a few announcements. As you all know, I've been talking a lot about our retreat that is coming up September 18th, 19th, and 20th. We will be having some about 5 to 10 minute videos with our speakers so people understand what is going to be talked about and what is going to be taught at the upcoming conference. So very excited to share that with you. It is outside of Santa Cruz, California in Watsonville. It is at High Bliss. It's at Mount Madonna. And we will, if you go to our website, which is sacreduprising.com, you can take advantage of the early bird special, see what the prices are. We have price points to fit most budgets, everything from live streaming if you can't come to the conference during those dates, as well as actually being at the conference, and all prices include, it's all inclusive. So it includes your lodging as well as including food as well. So as we wait for Bliss to come on, here Bliss, as we wait for Bliss to come on, I just want to make just a few additional announcements regarding our website. Please, again, sacreduprising.com. We will also have an outline here in the next couple days of all of our speakers that will be there. We have finally completed having all of Bliss, having all of our speakers on, so please go to Sacred Uprising. Also, don't forget about YouTube. You can subscribe to our YouTube channel, as well as I'm excited about having these 5 to 10 minute videos where we can talk to each one of the speakers. They can give you an overall view of what's going to be talked about at the conference. It's going to be very exciting, very highly elevated, and I'm thrilled and feel so much gratitude for everyone that has jumped on board with this conference. So Bliss, let's talk. I am thrilled about this accelerating consciousness through initiation, and I can't think of anybody better to talk about it than you. So thanks for being here, and let's jump into it.
Yeah, thank you. There's so many beautiful people coming live with us, Trish.
Yes.
I just wanted to say hi too. And what's beautiful is that some of the people that are joining us live are actually part of a program that I've created called the Initiate Circle. And what the Initiate Circle does is over 3 months is it accelerates consciousness through initiation. So this is the 3rd circle that I've run. The first one spanned 4 months, and then the 2nd and 3rd one were 3 months.
Okay.
So I'm now walking into almost a year of having the role of initiator underneath my belt. So just wanted to say hi to Deborah and William and Christopher and Papa Charlie. He's been such a beautiful support over the last few years. And the reason why, oh, hi Seamus, so nice to have you here. And Sarah, oh, so many beloveds, yay. The reason why I even say thank you for the support is that part of initiation, and I think actually, let's just start with what initiation is. So initiation is a rite of passage that sparks a new beginning. And so that new beginning is usually within ourselves, because there is only the self, there is only the solo journey, and each of us are 100% responsible for our own solo journey. And yet we have the love and support of our beloveds and our immediate reality. And so in essence, we're all going through this together. So the first thing that happens with this rite of passage that I think is super important is that we create a foundation and a platform that begins with consent. And consent for me is one of the most important tools as we initiate, as we begin a new way of being. And originally and initially, that consent comes with self first. And so as we start to learn how to work with consent, then it becomes an experience that we've created for ourselves, and then it ripples out, and all of our actions and all of our initiations then work with consent as that platform and that foundation. And so I'm sure as everybody kind of looks back for those that have gone through an ascension process, the rite of passage, that there was a key moment in their life where they said, okay, bring it on, or I'm ready, or like, use me. Do you remember what yours was, Trish?
There were several, but
Exactly.
the best one for me was, I wanted to be but a feather on the breath of God, and I talk about that, even today. That's my surrender.
Beautiful. For me, it was, of course, same thing, many different times throughout my life. But the biggest one was when I created the I am power mantra. And so for me, that was like a huge declaration and a huge command for the initiation to begin. And so just to share that, it's on my Facebook feed many times, but it's bringing hands into mudra and placing them on the chakras and saying, power, I activate, transmutate, and create. I am power. I activate, transmutate, and create. And then every time you repeat it, you bring your hands up over the chakras. And in essence, what we're doing with that mantra is we're giving consent to all aspects of our being to initiate into a new way of being, to initiate into a way where we activate our consciousness, we transmutate from an old version of self into a new being, and then create, because that is our inherent essence and power.
It's interesting when you did this is what I do, because I do light body activations, and I do this over my solar plexus while I'm activating my own light body before I activate other people's. So I do the same exact placement of my hands. Yeah.
Amazing.
Yeah.
Isn't that beautiful?
Yes.
That we're both getting the same message, and then we just have our own unique wording for it.
Yeah, that's beautiful. Right.
So beautiful.
Yes.
Yeah, so beautiful. Yay. So, Dane's on here. Hi, Dane. What a wonderful teacher Dane has been as well. So yeah, it's so nice to have so many beloveds here with us. I really feel the love and support. So moving back into that initiation. And so for me, that power mantra really helped accelerate. And yet what I think the biggest concept of what initiation is it's identifying what your biggest fears are. What is keeping you entrenched in your fear-based third dimensional reality?
Right. Yep.
And that is what literally all those mental constructs, closed mental constructs, limiting beliefs that hold you back, that keep you small. There's the fear of judgment, the fear of losing friends, the fear of change, the fear of changing what's familiar to you. So all of those things are pretty much the gateway into accelerating through initiation. And what I work as a coach with people, and really what we do is we just go through and identify what those fears are, because those fears are what keep us heavy, and those fears are what keep us in hiding.
Right.
And
yes.
So the initiation is really about identifying the fears and then transmuting them and seeking to understand them and being curious about them and seeing how perhaps an older version of ourselves, the older, younger version, needed to put blame or projection or judgment onto something that occurred.
Right.
And then what happens is we unconsciously or unconsciously accept that negative belief or that negative mental construct. And then that's how we define our world. And then our world reflects back to us from that space.
I think a beautiful example of not doing that is the video that we did yesterday with Skylar, who was in, her family put her in sex trafficking. And just the way that she talks about it, you don't feel that heaviness. There is an understanding that was a static point in her life, but what she's become since then, it was up to her. And it's a beautiful change. It's a different way of looking at what, what happens to us, instead of looking at it heavily, looking at it as that it was an opportunity to help others, opportunity for growth. And not that it makes it right, but it's a completely change in perspective.
She was
Wasn't
phenomenal.
she?
And for anyone who didn't get a chance to watch her, it is on YouTube,
Yeah.
Skylar. She blew my mind.
Yes.
What a shining star.
Yes.
And she's the perfect example of someone who was able to take an experience that could have shattered her. It did shatter her. And yet she was able to absolutely be that phoenix that rose from the ashes and is literally a shining star. And her ability to articulate,
Right.
and her drive and her motivation now to be an advocate.
Right.
I mean, for me, like, and this could come across as the wrong way, and I really hope that people try to hear what I'm saying, is it couldn't have happened to a better person.
Right. Yeah.
And just
Yeah.
that ability to be like, to take radical accountability for this really like day by day, month by month, year by year intense situation, and for her to survive through it, and then to just absolutely accelerate. And so perfect example of being able to take a situation that is really intense, and soul shattering, and still use it as an initiation, and use it as something that goes from being survivor to thriver,
Right.
to advocate.
Yes.
It's
beautiful.
what amazing.
It's beautiful.
Yeah,
And
what
she
an
did say, and I
amazing.
think, and I took it because I learned so much from it. Of course, I haven't gone down the journey that she has, but I've had things happen to me as well. And it's a beautiful example of, yes, we get shattered, but yet she specifically said in her video, it was taking that shattering and making it a beautiful stained glass. I loved, but not to, she is a perfect example of what you're talking about.
Absolutely, absolutely. And so, I mean, her life story is quite profound,
Yes.
right? And yet, every single person has, a moment in life that they have created for themselves. And when I say that, I mean from a higher level, the Akashic records, and we use these opportunities. We create these opportunities because, for a lot of us, having the pain, having the suffering, having the depths of despair is what helps us and propels us forward into that new way of being.
Right.
I mean, everybody, there's a term for it now called the dark night of the
Mm-hmm.
soul. But no, that wasn't available for us, in our, the last decade,
Right. Yeah.
as we were all going through these like really intense experiences. But what I hear all the time is people saying, it took me getting to rock bottom for me to see the light,
Yes.
right? Because they're so in the matrix, they're so blinded by the mundane. And so it usually does take these, really intense experiences to be the initiation.
Yes.
To be the lightning bolt that comes in and prods us, in really like magnetic ways to accelerate and to affect change in our life.
And I think,
And then the beauty, yeah, go ahead.
well, there's, I feel that like with my life, I had my main initiation, which I believe was when my father got ill. But I've had many initiations throughout this spiritual journey. And each one takes me to a higher level, and those initiations can feel lonely and dark. I spoke to one of my clients yesterday, and she was going through that darkness and feeling alone, but that's where the magic is created. Just keeping the faith and understanding what's going on and what's being created within.
Truly. And I wanted to mention this, so thank you. As I was going through my initiation process, in 2016, 2017, which included like literally like hours and hours of source energy flowing through my body in a simultaneously pleasurable way and completely painful way.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
And so the beauty of it was, you were such a beautiful part of that. Thank you. The beauty of that was that after each activation, my level of consciousness was noticeably increased. And so for me, a lot of my initiation was actually the Facebook posts that I created.
Right.
Because at the time, not a lot of people were sharing what was going on. And, to be sharing that level of consciousness really felt like coming out of the consciousness closet. And so what I recognized was that every single time I put a post, it would just push me past my limit of comfortability.
Yes.
And what was amazing every single time was that every single time I posted something, I had to push past the fear. I had to push past the fear of losing my best friend, losing my community, people thinking that I was crazy, people judging me. And I mean, the list just went on and on and on. And every single time I believed that what I was sharing was truth.
Right.
And so I had to push past those fears every single time. And then the beauty of that initiation is that every single time that I pushed past the fear, what would happen in response was so much love and so much support, and people going, oh my God, I'm having the same experience. And then what happened is as we push through those fears, what we do is we're actually creating that ripple effect. And as we come out of hiding, it encourages everyone else to come out of hiding. And, granted, there are going to be some people that are just going to say, I'm out, I'm not ready yet, I'm happy where I am, and I don't accept you, and I don't want to be a part of your experience anymore. And in those moments, it's like, yes, so much love to you, and I totally respect and I accept you.
Right.
And yet the beauty of it is that as you push through, the multitudes of people that do accept and relate, and then you're growing your community, you're growing your immediate reality in a way that's really positive and reflects back beauty to you.
It's like, and let's take it to a 3D level, it's like the Me Too movement. A lot of people keep their stories, their truth inside, and keep that inside, but as soon as they start speaking their truth, they find healing, they find that others feel the same way or have been down a similar path. And I got to tell you, when I started posting, because the way I posted before my spiritual journey was very different than I post now. It was very, not that there's anything wrong with it, but it was very 3D. It was very based on my insecurities, my lack of self-worth. And now, as I've grown from that, I mean, the people that I was friends with back then and still am friends with, they don't recognize the posts anymore. And many of them have kind of walked away, and that's okay. I found when we clear off our altar of what doesn't serve us and put our truth there, it's going to attract others with a similar truth.
Yeah. Precisely. Yeah, precisely. So are these initiations, so just the Facebook post is a beautiful example. And same, like I can go into Instagram and it's like 3D bliss and then 5D 7D bliss. And even still, like my posts even now, like I'm pushing myself past my preconceived limits. I'm pushing myself past what is making me feel comfortable. So that's just in Facebook world. So then if we bring it into our immediate reality, it's like, what initiations can you design for yourself that really encourage you to push past your fears? And so like some of the examples, that I work with, are working with people with their career versus their passion. A lot of people are in their 3D career because it pays the bills and it's safe, and they're not happy. And yet there's this like giving up, thinking, well, this is life, and so I'll just suffer for 30 more years so I have a pension. And it's like, okay, so you can use that as an opportunity to push back past that limitation and push through into something that actually makes your heart sing, that you're truly passionate about. And there's always this beautiful precipice. And I encounter this a lot in the initiate circle where, and it's also part of the conscious evolver, right? In that stage of emptiness and void where people are no longer who they were, but they're not yet who they're becoming. And they're in this real like, and people could think of it as the dark night of the soul, but it doesn't have to be dark at all. It can be this real honoring space of just acknowledging that they're in the midst of the chrysalis.
Yes.
They're in the midst of the initiation,
Yes.
and that it usually feels uncomfortable, right?
Oh, of course.
It doesn't.
Yes.
It's not all sparkles and rainbows and sunshine, especially in that midway phase. That it's a Latin word called limin, Limin, liminality, and it's like that. Also, I call it snake skinning, right? It's just like nothing you do feels comfortable. You can't sit, you can't lie down, you don't want to do exercise, you don't want to watch TV, you don't want to journal, and it's just you don't want to meditate. But it's literally like that beautiful new version of you is there, ready to be birthed through.
Yes.
And yet you still have that dry, wrinkly, old, cracked skin that you're trying to wriggle out of. So that's the snake skinning term, right?
Right.
And yet these initiations are so important.
Yes.
And that's how we evolve to the next level.
Right.
So initiations come all the time, and what we do is we tend to like bypass them or ignore them, or just like no way, and you know, look the other way, because it does take an enormous amount of courage and personal perseverance and commitment and discipline and dedication.
Yes.
Yeah,
it does.
To push through.
And there's nothing to fear, because on the other side of the initiation is so much beauty, and it's everything. What the treasure we seek is in the cave that we fear. So the initiation is the cave, and just keep going. And there's never been a time that I've been going through the initiation. I love that terminology. That that I haven't been rewarded and blessed on the other side and received everything that my soul was calling for in my life, whatever it may be. And I can't, you know, I do want to mention, when you said that you were writing stuff on Facebook, I want to tell you it's so incredibly important. I view Facebook as our own little universe, and we can create it any way that we want. So how are we going to create it? Is it going to be negative? Is it going to be bitter? Or are you going to sacredly write what it is you want to draw into your life, what you want to call into your life, what you want to create in your life? And I'm a big believer. I know it works because it happened for me. I wrote what I wanted, and I received exactly what I asked for, in a package better than I could have ever conceived for it to be. So keep writing, keep taking that universe of Facebook or Instagram or whatever social media outlets that you have, even in your own sacred space in your life, and create, because that is going to, you are creating, you're a co-creator in your universe, and those initiations will happen to grant you what you asked for.
Exactly. I just read the comments, and Leela Reckett said about me wearing red.
Yes.
Well, even me wearing red is me pushing through. Like it's an initiation in its own, because it's a whole new vibration. It's a whole new statement. And even for me, wearing red feels really vulnerable. I'm getting more used to it. But it's just, and that's the beauty of initiation, is it doesn't have to be some huge lightning bolt that comes out of nowhere. It can be literally like, I was scared of red.
Yeah,
I was scared of red.
Yes.
And yet, you know, red for me now has become this beautiful expression, and now I'm just encouraging myself as often as possible to step into the red. Thank you for all the love hearts. So I would say, really, you know, because this is our solo journey and it is self-guided, and of course there are those of us that have gone through the ascension descension process, and can help guide others and be the trigger, be the lightning bolt, be the love, the unconditional love, and the non-judgmental support as you go through the process. And yet this is also something that can be completely initiated with self.
Yes.
So just taking a look at the fears. And so trigger is also something that I want to just address, that we completely, I love radical accountability. And so when I look at the triggers that are happening into my life, I'm able to go, wow, like this is seriously triggering me. So why would I create this type of response, and why would I create this type of trigger? And just to really take that beautiful accountability that I would only create a trigger that is meant to serve me to my highest degree.
Right.
And so triggers are absolutely beautiful because they help me look at something in myself that I'm unwilling or unable to see.
Yes.
So then all of a sudden, the triggers become less and less and less because I'm having less of an emotional response to them. And yet what they are, they're these beautiful golden nuggets to help me get to the next level, or to just help me see something that I wasn't seeing before. So in the Initiate Circle, we have a whole different way of looking at triggers. We call them beloved triggers. And when they happen, we send so much love to the person delivering the trigger, because it's not easy to be the initiator sometimes. Right. It's not easy to be the trigger. It's not easy to be the lightning bolt. I don't believe in bad guys, but it's not easy to be the bad guy in the situation. So one of the ways that we can initiate that trigger is just to transmute any blame or projection or judgment onto that experience, and just send love out in all directions, and gratitude, love and gratitude, and then just to be in that space.
Yeah,
right?
And triggers are a point of where we need healing. So you can send love to the person that has triggered you, because they are gifting you a realization that healing is needed.
Truly. Yeah, truly.
Yes.
Beautiful. So many beautiful souls with that.
I'm so appreciative to everybody that came to hear this beautiful conversation and this wisdom that Bliss has shared with us today. I just want to remind everybody that Bliss is one of our speakers at the retreat, and she will be talking about sovereignty from love, as well as we will be doing a meditation on her story of the creator mind. And so please don't miss out on that. Once again, our retreat is September 18th, 19th, and 20th. And if you want some more information on Bliss, want to utilize her amazing soul coaching and all the different gifts that she has, if you go to sacreduprising.com, there is a link that can take you to her website. So, Bliss, thank you so much. I'm so grateful that you were here today.
Thank you.
And until
it's always a pleasure.
Yes. And until next time, just so everybody knows, we will be having Mohammed. He will be here at 11 o'clock. He is a tour guide in Egypt, and he teaches about Egyptian everything. And today we're going to be talking about ascension. So don't miss out. It's in 30 minutes. Bliss, thank you. And I got to tell you, red looks amazing on you. All right, everyone. Thank you. We'll see you in a little bit. All right.
My love. Bye.